Warning, this podcast contains Mike getting the shit kicked out of him.
Really?
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the SC.TV podcast for the original Season 2, Episode 14, I Love You. Goodbye. I'm your host, Dom.
That's actually a really...
It's actually really what?
Nothing. It's funny.
So is you getting the crap kicked out of you.
The title fits for the pre-show that we had going on here.
Mm-hmm. I'm your host, Dom. With me is my co-host, MacKenzie.
Hey.
And my perpetually dead host, Mike.
Hi.
Yeah. So, for those of you that don't know what that intro is all about, stick around to the end of the episode. For those of you that are watching for the episode, what did you guys think?
That was good, the episode. Gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. Unlike the past couple of episodes, I do have a small gripe with this episode, and I'm going to get it out of the way now, because this way we can talk more in depth about it. Unlike the last few episodes, this episode I found towards the middle slow and dragging. Especially, I mean, the wedding was nice and everything, but there was a point with this episode where I realized I was getting bored, and this show has never done that to me before.
Oh.
So, I don't know if they did something wrong. Maybe I find, weddings between characters like this boring and stupid, or there was something else at work.
Think about the last few episodes and then compare the action-packedness to this episode. There wasn't that much action, so...
Maybe that was it. Maybe the last couple episodes spoiled me.
Yeah, they spoiled you, and that's about it.
This was a very, very story-driven episode,
It
and
was.
what you would expect out of this show is the wedding to be crashed by Dahlia and have chaos and mass destruction and everything, and it didn't. And it went the complete opposite direction, and they actually had a very peaceful wedding. It's something you don't expect out of this.
Right, and I mean, leading up to that, sure, but as soon as they got to the end, it's like, you may now kiss the bride. I'm like watching them going in for the kiss, and I'm expecting Jackson's head to do a complete 360 before Haley kisses, his now dead face. Or something, equally shocking and random.
No. Klaus wasn't going to let that happen. He wants the super PAC. He wants it for himself. So
and boy, what a super PAC it is. Werewolves, vampires, hybrids, all united under one. Like, this is... It's basically killed all the rivalry. Are the rivalries, are they over?
No.
No?
I'm going to say the rivalries are not fully over, but this is a step in the right direction towards ending them.
I mean, we had Josh and Aiden basically come out and tell everybody, our relationship, here, it's out on the table now.
Right,
and
but that's because...
guess what? Here's the big thing. No one cared. Not in a bad way, but nobody made it out to be a big deal. And that was the cool part of it.
And there might be one or two people on either side that are going to still hold grudges and keep the rivalries going or whatever, but as far as the open, we hate you sort of rivalry, no, I think that's done. So that part's done.
You know what? It seems done now, but Klaus is getting his grubby little fingers in there, and he's going to stir some shit up.
I mean, Klaus wants to take control of the pack. He wants to become the leader. He wants to be the new alpha. He wants to kill Jackson. He kind of held off on that. Basically Elijah standing in his way.
I like that. I mean, Klaus was like, you're messed up, and you're thinking of this, and you're thinking of that, and you're not thinking straight. And Elijah's like, I don't give a shit what you think. You're not touching Haley's happiness. Mm-hmm. That is done.
You've been back for...
Elijah broke down this episode. We've
he cried.
Never, ever seen Elijah cry.
Single tear. But I mean, it's justified. I mean, he's already emotionally broken because his mom's a bitch. He can't hold on. He can't keep things properly inside anymore. And I think this is something he figured he needed to do in order to help get himself over that hill of getting over Haley and just being a protector now because of Hope and her.
Yeah, not only that, but the whole pack knows about Hope now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is
God.
huge.
Well, if Dahlia didn't know where she was, now she does. I mean, even if Dahlia didn't have that magic sensing ability,
Right,
I mean,
we Freya told us all about that.
Yeah.
We didn't know about that going into this, and
Ooh.
and after Hope's display of powers last episode, it already started. There's no going back at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then she said, I didn't show magic until I was taken at 5 years old, and I had just begun to show magic. Hope is what, 6 months old?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit older. Yeah, she's about
And
6.
she's showing signs of magical aptitude, so
Yep.
yeah.
And Freya does say Dahlia is coming.
Dahlia got the bat signal.
And she's
ready.
worse than Esther. I mean, we've already kind of known that, but...
Well, we knew that, but, Finn was probably, still deluded that his mother was the most powerful witch to ever walk the earth.
Right.
Finn is stupid.
I know he's stupid. God.
Finn is back
Yes.
as Vincent, thanks to Freya's amulet, and I'm glad. I'm glad, as I actually...
I'm glad too, but
I
I'm
like
like,
Vincent.
I don't understand why Freya doesn't look at what's happening with the others and sees that they're not killing each other right now. They're actually loving each other.
Right now.
I don't see why. Yeah, right now. But I mean,
But
maybe Freya could help that along and make it solidify,
She's had a lot of time to view them over the past, and we have seen, especially during last week's flashback, she has been watching them in the past. She attended the party, so...
Mm-hmm.
She's been around. We don't know how many other times she's witnessed them. So if she knows what they're like from that, even if she sees what they're like now, she's going to be like, absolutely not. That you guys have been doing this all your life. Absolutely no way.
Yep.
No, I don't think Klaus has ever shown Cole that much care in the world ever.
Yeah.
I mean, the most care he gave Cole was stabbing him in the chest with that dagger to protect him. That's all.
Right.
He seriously hasn't bent down on a knee and held him and said, you're my brother. I love you. We're family. You got to hang on there and be strong. And, we're here forever or whatever. Forever and ever isn't. I don't even know what he said, but all I know is that that's always and forever.
Always and forever. You can't weasel. Always and forever means always and forever. You can't weasel out of that by dying.
Yeah. I mean,
but
Cole was spending his last moments with Davina.
And Rebecca.
They're Davina first.
Yeah.
And they were in the cemetery, and Cole's cracking jokes about the stars and how they're so lovely, and somewhere under the stars is another guy with the most amazing girl, and he's got all the time in the world. And Davina's like, how can you crack jokes at a time like this? And he's just, then he starts coughing. He's like, I want to spend my time alone. And that's when the Mikealsons come in. Rebecca, Klaus, Elijah, they just walk in. They're like, you're not weaseling out of this. Forever, always and forever means always and forever. And Finn, I mean not Finn, Cole did say himself, this is what he's always wanted. This is all he's ever wanted, was his family to care about him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so my question here, does that, we saw earlier in the episode, Cole finished his little Klaus dagger that he's been meaning to make all this time. So does that mean Cole is going to go back on wanting to use that?
I don't know.
Assuming he comes, is not dead.
As of right now, he's dead.
Yeah, we know he's dead.
Yeah.
But Rebecca did say
Dead.
that he's going to be consecrated, he's going to join the ancestors, and he can be brought back. So...
Does she know about the other side, though? Because I thought all that stuff ended when the other side went away.
The other side is gone, the spirit world is gone, but I believe the ancestor thing is slightly different when it comes to witches. I think it operates a little different because if you remember... what
about Grams? She's an ancestor of the Bennett witches, and she was in the other side. She was in the spirit world, and she's gone now. She's gone forever.
She found peace and moved on. I think it's just the style of witches and their
Okay.
Their beliefs and how their magic and stuff operates, because it is different than the other witches.
Right, all of these witches, because I remember from season 1 in the beginning, all of their power comes from, they channel their ancestors for all of their power.
Right.
So if their ancestors are gone with the other side, then every single one of these witches in New Orleans that we've known, they have no magic. Their power is gone.
Yeah, because
Davina would just be a human.
The whole ritual and the sacrifice that they did, the sacrifice ritual, from the first season, that was all part of this, whole thing.
Okay.
So I believe, I'm 99% sure here, there is that 1% that I could be wrong, but I believe they function differently from the way the other side worked.
And if not, what a lovely plot hole.
Yeah, that's why I asked that question. I'm like, it doesn't really add up for me. It feels
it
like
does
a loose
feel a
string.
little cheapened to me. It does.
Mm-hmm. And that was why I was raising my hand, and she brought the point up exactly when I was gonna. It's just doesn't feel right now.
So if she said the bones have to be consecrated, and all that. So I'm under the impression that he's gonna get a new body. He's not gonna come back as the same actor. So that's a little disappointing until I had the idea of what if he gets to come back in his original body and Nathaniel gets to come back.
Wasn't his original body destroyed?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't want. I like, as much as I like Nathaniel, I like this Cole better.
Really?
I know. Yeah. You know what? This Cole is growing on me.
I mean, I don't dislike this Cole, but I still prefer Nathaniel. So, I don't know, because you got to look at it from, wasn't Michael's body destroyed? Right? But then he was a spirit on the other side in his body, because he's a spirit, and he was brought over. So I don't know how when they go into their, ancestor form, if they get pulled back that way.
You're right. I have, again, no idea. Because, Finn's body was destroyed and so was Cole's, but Esther brought them back in different bodies just so they wouldn't be vampires.
Right.
I don't know how the hell it works.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see Cole this season? Or do you think, that's done for now?
This was episode, 14?
Yes.
And there's 22 episodes this season?
Correct.
So we got 8
more.
I have a feeling by the end of the season we'll see him again in some way, shape, or form.
I'm going to be very disappointed if we don't.
I agree.
Does Freya know what happened to Cole from Finn? I mean, she was all about like, oh, you guys have been fighting each other and it's just blah, blah, blah. Like, Finn is just as much a jerk as the rest of them. Why hang out with him? I mean, does she know that he cursed Cole to die forever and ever?
I don't know. I don't know what Freya's intentions are either. She may want to eradicate the vampires as well, though.
And we don't know what Freya's motivation
Cole's
is right now.
Cole's not a vampire. And, he gave up his power. He's like, I'll help you out. And Finn's like, hell's to the no.
Right, but also on the same token, Freya did not do that to Cole. That was Vincent doing that.
Right. Yeah.
But what happens if Freya finds out and goes, oh, you did this? Well, we made this little pact thing? It's like,
is Freya's information, because she's been observing the family, on her 1 year out of every 100 for the past. She just sees their interactions, and she wouldn't have seen Finn because Finn's been daggered all that time. So
Cole's been for a majority of it as well.
But she did get to observe Cole at one point.
Yes.
So the question, she's probably just going off of what she knows of Finn from when they were little, when they were kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's all she's got to go on.
They were close. They were really close when they were kids.
They were close, yeah. They were really close. But, I mean, you can't judge a person on their past.
No, exactly. But that's possible. It's possible that that's all Freya has to go on right now.
Then she should do a little bit more. You know what? She's basically putting herself out there right now, being around Hope. She knows Dahlia's coming around. She's doing all these stupid things. Why she's being stupid.
I just want the 6 of them in one room.
I don't understand the. Freya's blonde, and I hope she dies.
Wow. Well, as she said, Dahlia's coming, and yeah. So, I mean, Freya's motivation is stop Dahlia, I think, right now. even though we really have no idea. Like what her true motivation is. But, I mean, that's what we can infer based on what she said.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just really confused about... I mean, there's a lot of plot and it, push things forward, but there's a lot of questions that I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like it at all because it just... These questions, they're confused. I'm very confused about a lot of the things going on right now.
Yeah, me too. It's not a bad confusion where I'm just like, oh, fuck this. I don't want to. It's
the only thing that makes complete sense is Haley and Jackson with Hope, and Klaus and Elijah. That whole part right there makes sense to me.
And I actually thought it was kind of touching when Haley confessed to Jackson how she's actually felt about him the whole time. She's like, you think that I'm doing this only for the pack. What I should have told you was, from the very first moment that I got here and I was lost and scared and confused, and I saw that wolf, that's the first time I've ever felt safe. And that should have been, like, in her vow speech.
It should have, but...
Should have.
It was still touching.
The ceremony seemed pretty... traditional, and what they said was kind of scripted as per his grandma. That's what I kind of got from that.
And then also at the same time, I feel like if she did do that in front of everybody, that it would have kind of fractured the community. They would have been like, oh wait, this has kind of been a sham from the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I thought this was fine. So I guess I could kind of see why she did that privately.
Yeah.
I still feel like it should have been done before the wedding, but it served its purpose.
You mentioning Jackson and Haley, you made me think of something I really liked from this episode. The baby they got to play Hope is one really lively and happy baby.
It is.
But the thing is that I got is that the baby actually has Haley's eyes, because Haley's eyes are actually, big and pronounced, and the baby's eyes are big and pronounced, and she just
baby's all
looks
eyes.
like Haley, and I'm like,
I just love, like, Hope, this is Jackson. Jackson puts his hand up, and the baby's just like, I'm gonna eat that hand. Like,
I'm hungry.
Bob.
Give me some blood.
Yeah.
Well, not even just the baby goes like, nah, and then boops her head into his hand. That was just like the cutest thing ever. I was like, just melting, like, squee babies.
Yeah.
And then finally, Rebecca says, as one of the last thing Cole hears is, Rebecca is not going to leave her current body until Cole comes back. So, I mean, we already know Claire Holtz is taking some time away from acting, so she's not returning. So, that is the part that worries me about Cole coming back anytime soon. So, it was just the way that line was thrown out there. It's like, are they going to be able to get Cole back in time? Like, Rebecca's not going to actively be searching for a way to get out of this body for the rest of the season then.
I'm kind of hoping that, like, they do the ritual, they consecrate, and they can bring him back. But when they bring him back, since he's with his ancestors, he comes back a little more powerful than Freya would hope, and Dahlia kind of, he just comes back as Super Witch, and basically he blows all his magical load on Dahlia, and he becomes mortal.
Whoa.
He becomes mortal. He loses all his magical power because he just uses it all on Dahlia to get rid of her to protect his family.
I would like that scenario to happen, except for him losing his power. I want him to keep it and then act like the manipulating Cole that he's always been, and now the Mikealson's got to deal with him. So.
Nah, that seems like a reuse.
He's so good as an antagonist, though.
He is, but I mean, that actually just seems like a reused storyline. It doesn't seem satisfactory to me. It just him coming back being super powerful, that'd be cool. Yeah, then he uses his powers, he loses his powers, and then he's mortal. And I think he could actually do more damage as a mortal.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see some stuff happen with hybrids. And have a particular, I don't know anyone specifically, but I want a hybrid to rise up to become the next big villain. Because as much as I'm really enjoying the witches, you need to switch it up. And
they do, yeah.
Where do you go from a witch? Hybrid? That seems like the next logical step to me.
Because they're all hybrids now, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
So if you have a whole pack of hybrids
I don't think
against Klaus, then...
Well, they're not... They don't have the vampire part, so they can still...
I thought they did.
No, they have the
No,
ability.
they have the ability to
They got
change
the
whenever
ability,
they
yeah.
want.
They can change at will. That's what they gained.
Yes.
They gained everything that Haley has, including her vampirism side.
No.
I don't think they're undead. Does Haley have a lust for blood?
She's a hybrid. She doesn't need to.
No.
Okay. Because as far as I know, all they got was, the ability to shapeshift, to shapeshift whenever they want and use, access to their werewolf powers all the time instead of just once a month when they turn into a crazy wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the whole deal. Because
I could have sworn that they've been referring to them as hybrids, and if they're hybrids, that means that they're part vampire.
I was under the impression that while they're in their wolf form as a werewolf, they have, much more power than they do when they're in their human form. And that's when they're deadly to vampires with their bites and all that other stuff. But when they're in their human form, they're just humans. Maybe
now they're
slightly
deadly all
more
the time.
Yeah, now they're deadly all the time. Their bites will always transmit that.
They are super wolves now because they got all their power is basically all the freaking time.
But I don't think they're hybrids. I don't think they're going to have the super speed from the vampirism or anything like that.
Everything they've been talking about has been referring to them as hybrids, so I've been under the impression that they're part vampires this whole time.
I don't think they are.
I think that's just a name for them now that they have some ability from the hybrids. Call them super wolves all the time. Yeah,
we'll find out for sure.
We'll find out eventually. I don't think they're true hybrids, though. I don't think they're going to be as powerful as Tyler was or as Haley is or anything like that.
No.
We'll see for sure. Unfortunately, we have to wait 3 weeks to find out.
Ah, fuck that.
The show is on a 3-week break. Comes back March 9th.
Watch us all kick up our feet because most of our shows are going on break. We're going to kick up our feet. We're going to get all cozy. And then everything's going to come back and we're all going to be scrambling and we're all going to have crazy headaches.
A lot of shows are not ending, though. It's maybe 4 out of the 10 shows that we're actively covering right now. So, anyway, the next episode is called They All Asked For You.
And actually, we're getting a synopsis for this one, which we haven't for how many other shows.
Yeah. When a dangerous run-in with a coven of vengeful witches forces Rebecca to align with Marcel, they quickly discover that the body of Rebecca is currently inhabiting a checkered past.
Has a checkered past.
Or inhabiting has a checkered past. Upon learning that Rebecca is in danger, Elijah seeks out a respected elder witch, Josephine. Why have I heard that name before? I don't know.
Keep going.
Josephine in the hopes that she might offer her assistance. Meanwhile, tensions build when Klaus clashes with Haley and Jackson over how best to protect Baby Hope from Finn. Elsewhere, Freya convinces Finn to bring her to Michael, the father she hasn't seen in over 1,000 years. And finally, confrontation with Freya leaves Elijah and Klaus questioning whether they can trust their long-lost sister.
You can't trust them, Elijah and Klaus. You can't trust her. You can't trust her one bit. She's a conniving shithead. She's been under Dahlia's thumb. She learned all those tricks. She may be running from her, but she learned a lot.
Josephine is a character we have not seen before. It's just this coming episode.
Excellent. All right. Outside of that, I believe we are done. You guys have anything else?
No, a good episode. Wedding took up a lot of it.
It did. It was, like I said, it was a slow action, but it's very plot centric.
I
don't mind plot centric. You need it. You need to slow down sometimes.
When Freya opened up Vincent's body bag, I expected to see charred everything, but he just had half of his body missing. It's like that's no biggie.
Well, don't forget he was right on top of the blast, so it's not like he was away from it where the blast had time to engulf him. Really, he got hit by the direct blast and was shot off. So half of his body charred actually kind of makes sense.
I was just expecting something a little bit more grim and morbid and horrible.
Half of his body being charred makes sense, yes. But his whole body being intact in one piece does not make sense. The pressure wave at that distance would have... I forget the term they used.
He had the amulet on.
Right, that was the amulet.
That's the kicker.
whatever I was expecting to see multiple body parts, head missing, all that stuff. Because
If he did not have the amulet on, yes.
There's a term they use for victims of an explosion like that, and I can't think of... I'm dying here.
The term is follow Mike down below, and he'll tweet it out and let you know. At Philidren, Thilladren, as he dies, because Freya was not having any of that talk.
Oh, she was done with that.
No,
God,
she's
feels like I
done.
swallowed a cat hair or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what Freya did. Omikins, where can the people find you?
Stop
They can
laughing.
find me and my ravings of ranting on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyYvenom24.
You can find me down below at Phenomenon, Phenomedom. You can also find us on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, Space, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV Podcast for some more of your favorite TV shows. I did promise you guys what was going on in the beginning, and I would like to state that
Oh, God.
Omi over here especially hates it when Mike ad-libs our spoilers title card. And for a very first time on our podcast, you will now get to see a wonderful, wonderful
Basically,
outro.
just before he does that, I'll say this podcast contains lots of spoilers, or this podcast contains a bunch of spoilers, just to change it up.
No. And here's our first ever outtake.
Our first ever outtake. I love it. Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. A whole bunch of them. And then Dom says, oh wait.
I fucked up!
Dom fucked up!
I'm caught to this frame.
Dom fucked up. Dom fucked up. It's not recording.
I don't care.
Okay, I can end my local recording because that did get filmed.